I'm going to try to talk about some of the things with grading and using the rubrics pages and setting this up. Please be patient with me because even though I know how to do this, I've done it not enough times to be like super fast at it or not forget things. So I'm going to do the best I can, and I'll probably make mistakes, but I don't want to record the video 4 or 5 times. So one video, I'll fix my mistakes as I go. So I'm on my dashboard. And I'm actually going to play with a course that I haven't done anything with yet. And I'm going to probably not even use this course, but it's still okay. So I go into my course, and the first thing I need to do is kind of set up what grading schemes I'm going to use, and also to kind of just set up the whole page. And that's using these tabs here. So you can see here's home, and I'm going to scroll down, and sometimes this little part doesn't want to go, but I want to go to settings. And settings is going to bring you to this page. And I think a lot of you know how you can put images, and you can change your time, and you can choose the term and start dates. So I'm not going to go through. I'm really focusing on grading. So you'll see kind of towards the middle of the grading scheme. And I need to click on enable a course grading scheme. And I need to say set a course grading scheme. And then I need to, I don't want this scheme, so I have to say select another. And I am actually just using this unit grading scheme entirely. And this is the one, no, I was using this one. You can choose whether you have all of these in. I'm not going to have Canvas put in these other grades. I only want them to put in A, B, or P. So this is the one I'm using. And so I say use this grading scheme, and I can say done. So now this is set for the course. The other thing that we were talking about the other day or yesterday in the meeting, just while I'm on this settings thing, is here with the syllabus. Tim was saying you don't want all of this. This course summary here, you will see where it lists all assignments. This is not good for a kid to see. So how do I get rid of this? When I hit edit this, I can insert my syllabus here. So you can put yours in, and then you can click right here, show course summary. No, turn that off. And now it's not going to list all the assignments. So that's something that's very, very useful to get rid of. There was one other thing. No, that's not what I wanted. I was trying to see if I could quickly figure out where you click to not have all of this stuff for the students, but I don't think I'm remembering. I'll have to go back for that. Let me just check up here. Sections. Here you go. Under navigation, you can, if you don't want these things, so we were talking about how do we not have all these blue things here. So I'm under settings to go back. I'm under navigation, and whatever you don't want the kids to see, you just drag down here. So they don't need to see any of these things. If you want them to have those things there, they can stay there. But in general, they don't need to see, they need the modules. I don't really want kids to be able to click on quizzes because everything they're going to see is in the modules. They don't need to see the rubrics. They don't need to see they need to see a syllabus. They don't really need to see files. They don't need pages. I don't know what people does, so I guess I'll leave it there. They need their grade book. They don't really need to see discussions or assignments because I want everything to be in modules, right? So there's announcements, there's the modules, and this stuff is up to you. But now in the student view, this blue tab will be much, much less for you. All right, so now I want to go to grades to kind of start to set up how assignments are going to be, what's going to be graded. No, I told you I was going to make mistakes. I don't want to go to grades. I just want to go to assignments. So I clicked on assignments, and this is where I can kind of set up how my assignments are going to be. If you right now, this everything just when it's imported from Moodle, it just everything gets into an imported assignments box. I think you all know it. You could leave them like that. Nothing's going to hurt to leave them in imported. But I find it was more helpful. I'm going to switch classes for a second to show you what it looks like for a class that's been organized. I organized all the assignments as I was updating them into files by groupings so that what they were, so I could, if I needed to, like I said, in the meeting, I didn't know what was going to happen when we had reports. So I have concept maps, which is most of how my AP psychology is. They turn in a concept map for every day. I have assignments where they're practicing things, so I listed them as practicing. I have discussions, so the discussions are all filed together. And then my progress checks and practice tests, the unit projects, and then the grading rubrics. And you'll see this number. So I have one grading rubric per unit, and this is 100% of the total. So when I was talking about how this will come out, you can see that these assignments all have points, but they're not going to the total. So how do you set that up? How do you get to decide? First is you got to decide how you're doing your groupings. You could leave everything imported and then just have a grading rubric. But to get this way of putting 0 or whatever, you have to click up here on these 3 dots. And then you say assignment group weights. And so any category that you have created will have a thing here. And you can just put in what percentage that is. So you can see my grading rubrics are making up 100% of my final grade. All right, so that's how you do that. You do that under these 3 dots and you put your weights. But you first have to divide everything up. You can't, I guess I was wrong. You can't just have everything be imported. Or you could have everything be imported and then one grouping. And how do you get a new group? You just go up here and click on this plus. So you could put up here your grading rubrics. And then because I've even started this percentage of a total, you'll have that. If you haven't clicked on those 3 dots, you're not even going to get this option. So click on the 3 dots if you want to set it up that way. All right, so then the next part is dealing with these grading rubrics. And for that, I'm going to go back to the other course that doesn't have anything so I can show how I create it. So here I'm in psychology. And it automatically brings me to modules, but that's not where I want to work from. Modules is like where the kids are going to work from. So I'm in my assignment. And so remember, this was just all imported from Moodle. I haven't dealt with this at all. So these things are just in order of what's been imported. So I'm looking for the first time I have a grading rubric, Unit 1 grade. Right, so this was that assignment before. Right, so now I want to edit it. All right, so now how many points is it worth? Well, here's what I did to decide points. I have my old grading rubrics from what I used in Moodle. Here's Unit 1. So here I was before just sharing a document with kids. So how do I get the 80-90? I went and said, okay, this unit has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 TSWs. And I said every B is worth 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. And then the A's are worth 1, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So that grading rubric has 29 points. So I'm going to put 29 points. And here, you can create your groups here. So since I haven't created that group, I'm going to call this grading rubrics group and add the group. It's going to, now I can say display it as points, or I can have it display as a letter grade. And remember, we already picked that grading scheme. So this is the grading scheme it's going by. I could choose to have it be a percentage, be points, whatever I want. I'm going to leave it as letter grade so it spits out A, B, or P. For the students, it's going to grading rubrics. They don't really have to do anything. And I say that here, right? When you've completed all of this, I'll share the rubric with you. I know Carrie Ann is doing this as like a self-reflection that works too. All right, so I'm going to hit save to that. And when I hit save, you see it gives me this object for a rubric here. So I'm going to actually use the grading rubric here. So it's not going to be called some rubric. It's going to be Unit 1 grading rubric. Now you have a couple of choices here. You can't click on two things. So if I wanted to say this was the B and this was the A, I could add that criteria to it. But you're not going to be able to click on two things at once with this. So what you can do is say I'll free write. So if you click on this button, I'll free write, this is, you could put comments in later or just points, but I need to check, I need to double check on that rubric. So TSW, the first one, which I'm going to copy here, it only has a B. So when I'm over here, this is only going to be worth 3 points. And I can add, so TSW1, I can say this is what it is. And when I go to grade this assignment, I will just be able to click 3 points. Like you'll just be able to very quickly say they get 3 points. You don't have to type anything. You can click 3 points and they'll have it. So then criterion 2, so new criterion, TSW2, and this does take a bit of time. I'm not going to do all of them. TSW2 has 4 points available because there's an A and a B. So when I come over here, I put that in, and I'm going to say that's worth 4. And then at the very end, this assignment is going to match the 29 points, and it's going to spit out the A, B, or P, and only this assignment. Oh, we have to go back. So let me just say create rubric. I can always come back in and edit it. So I could go to edit and edit this whole thing. But here in assignments, now that I have those two groups, right? So I have grading rubrics and these imported, I could click on those 3 dots, assign the group weights, weight final grade, grading rubric is worth 100, everything else is worth 0. And so now it'll spit that out into the grade book here. But the grade book will still have the points they get for all the other assignments. So you can, and it's not going to say these things don't count. It's just weighting the final grade to the grading rubric. So I hope, I think those were the main things of using. Oh, and the nice thing is maybe just when you organize in modules, this is an advantage to Canvas over Moodle, is when these things are organized into modules, it will automatically go in the gradebook in that order for them. And maybe just, while I'm here, because you can stop it right now if you're done with grading. When I first built the courses, they were very, very long. You can see how much scrolling a student would have to do. So I really did put a lot of effort into, since I'm redoing it, I might as well redo it better. When I redid it, I went ahead and put, you know, everything is a unit. So there's only the unit modules. And then I just put in labels for the week. So that you can see here's week 1, here's week 2, and anything that goes into the assignment, like any resource they need for the assignment, is now into that page. So, you know, you can build videos right into that page. Everything is here of what they need to do. And then there's for them to submit. And just kind of, you can see how the gradebook then looks. Everything gets put in order. So it's very nice for the kid to be in order. And I hope that everything will work like I think it will. All right, I hope that helps. If I can make other videos, if there's other things you want to know how to do, please just ask.